Hey, what's going on, everyone? For this video, I want to talk about PWG and Chikara. I want to compare and contrast both companies. But before I get into all that, I just want to follow up on a comment about independent wrestling. I know LV and a bunch of other guys have talked about how it's kind of sucks to be a independent wrestling reviewer on YouTube. Sometimes it's tough to get people to click on the video and things of that nature. Obviously, WWE fans are going to click on the WWE videos more often than a Chikara review, so to speak. So that's totally understandable. But I think uh, the key is to get people to start checking out more independent wrestling shows. It's very difficult to just throw a whole bunch of random names at people and they don't know them and tell them to buy the show. It's very, very tough. I used to be the same way. I used to be like, I don't know any of these motherfuckers. Why would I buy the show? I think the key is, though, we need to combine everything into one. Like when we talk about what was the best match of the year, or what was the best match of the year, let's do a poll. Like if people see that if Bryan Danielson and Kenta is beating out John Cena and Shawn Michaels, then it's beating it out for a reason. And I think stuff like that is the kind of things that people need to see. And that's just going to make them want to check out the DVD. If we're just throwing random names at people and reviewing shows, I can see it's very, very tough. So I think so. That's why I do the music video countdowns of the best stuff from the year. So I'm hoping people see that and they'll see, oh yeah, there's a reason why David Richards and Tyler Black is at #1. I'm not so sure if it's going to be #1, but if it is, I think that'll be great. So, sometimes when we review a show, like if we could say that Chikarasaurus Rex featuring Bryan Danielson, I think that adding in Bryan Danielson's name will get fans to take a look and watch the entire video, because now that he's a name, now he has some WWE exposure, I think that sparked a lot more interest. And once these guys do buy the show and they do watch the whole show in its entirety, and then hopefully they'll buy another show, then they'll start getting familiarized with some of these other guys. So that's just one point I wanted to throw out there. But yeah, let's talk about PWG and Chikara. Basically, PWG, for those that don't know, it's based out of Los Angeles. Basically, it's just, to my knowledge, I think it's just a bunch of random wrestlers, independent wrestlers like what's his name, Excalibur, Joey Ryan, Scott Loss, a bunch of guys on the West Coast got together and just started putting together the funds to put on the best wrestling show possible. This started back in 2003, and and I think that's the way to do it, because if you are a wrestler, I'm sure you probably have much better connections than someone that's really not involved in the business. So I definitely think that that has definitely worked for PWG. And basically, it's not for everyone. Just like Chikara, just like Ring of Honor, if you like storylines, if you want a whole bunch of storylines with your product, the PWG is definitely not for you. Basically, they're not trying to reinvent the wheel. This is what I get from them. They just want to put on the best wrestling show possible, and that's what's working for them. One of the reasons they can't do storylines, and if they did start doing them, it probably wouldn't work, because basically they try to bring in the biggest names from around the country, and usually it's not a guarantee that the Briscoes will show up, that that Chris Hero will show up. A lot of these guys work all around the world, so it's hard to get them to commit to the company on a permanent basis. So they just try to get what they can get for each show. So storylines probably won't work for PWG. Just think of them as super cards. If you just like great wrestling matches with great wrestling from top to bottom, then PWG is your company. And I like PWG. I respect them. I think, personally for me, PWG and Ring of Honor, they're my two favorite companies. They put on great matches. And I think one of the advantages that PWG has over Ring of Honor is that they have access to TNA talent, like the Young Bucks, Motor City Machine Guns, probably Christopher Daniels in the future, and a whole bunch of other guys. Even Bryan Danielson right now, who Ring of Honor doesn't have access to, I believe, until Glory of Honor. So they do have the advantage as far as talent goes, actually. So, but like I said, though, they're not really focused, and they don't want to burn themselves out by trying to book storylines, because probably they're not going to have the chance to follow up on them due to booking commitments from other wrestlers. So that's just PWG. So let's talk about Chikara really quickly. And is Chikara overrated? I don't know. I wouldn't really say so. I mean, they're not a great wrestling company as far as just putting on. It's not the type of company where Mike Quackenbush is going to say, just go out there and put on excellent matches. I don't give a fuck about anything else. You know, it's not really like that. And one of the reasons I really like Chikara, and one of the reasons I've tolerated them, and I say tolerate because, you know, at first I was kind of hesitant because, you know, I saw some of these guys dressed up as snakes, dressed up as ice cream cones, dressed up as ants or whatever, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? But honestly, Mike Quackenbush apparently runs this promotion, and he's a very smart guy. I have a lot of respect for him. He's an excellent wrestler. Obviously, he takes great care of himself. He's in excellent shape, and he's a very smart guy as well. But I think you got to give him credit, though, because on the independent scene, in order to compete with Ring of Honor, PWG, and Dragon Gate, and all these other companies, I think he knew what he had to do, and that was to be different. You know, he knew that, you know, he can't compete with ROH's talent, so it would be dumb just to put on great wrestling matches all the time. So, you know, all the shows, you know, I think like Big Rat just said it in his video, they're like a puzzle. You know, even though, you know, I bashed the Mint Condition and the World of Comforting Illusions, I didn't think those shows were very good, but they are essential, though. You know, you get to see the Delirious, signs of the Delirious heel turn with him running out of the arena because he was scared of a piece of a metal. So things like that, you know, the whole shows, there's continuity between each show. They feature a lot of guys that can really go on the mic. A lot of these guys cut great promos from the heart, and a lot of them are good wrestlers. They're good wrestlers. They can get in the ring and put on good tag matches, but, you know, they're not wrestlers that we're going to see go up against Kenta and Marufuji toe-to-toe in a slugfest type of wrestling match. So that's just what Chikara is. I enjoy the product. I really like it. I really think it's a fun promotion. It offers a variety of different elements that, you know, we don't find in the WWE or TNA, and it's not overkill. You know, they don't try to be, you know, cutting edge, but at the same time they are cutting edge, in my opinion. They just have a knack for just delivering a great product, and you know, they don't curse at all. There's hardly any blood, any hardcore matches. It's just really fun, entertaining wrestling that, you know, people of all ages can watch, not just kids, not just adults, not just teens. So that's why I like it, and I think everyone should give it a chance. It's expensive, though. You know, the site doesn't run sales that much, but I don't think you really need every single show to keep up with the company. I would say pretty much just try to pick up, you know, the essential shows, and I still think it'll flow pretty nicely. And they do the podcasts, and there's numerous other things that you can check out on YouTube that will keep you in tune with the storyline. So that's just it. And the BDK angle, they have an angle, the Bruder Shaft. It's kind of like the NWO of Chikara, and it's definitely helped this company out. I wonder, I'm pretty sure that DVD sales are up since this angle has started. I'm not sure on that. You know, I really wanted to contact someone from Smart Mark to kind of get an official word about that. But this has just been a great stable for Chikara. And I don't know, maybe I was kind of hesitant about this at first. At first, I was like, what's the big deal? I was thinking, you know, this probably wouldn't work that well in Ring of Honor, but in Chikara, I definitely think it works. We see a variety of different talent. We see women, you know, the women, Daisy Hayes and Sarah DeRay. This has definitely benefited them a lot. People are taking them more serious now as two women wrestlers that can go even with the guys. Claudio Castagnoli, you know, someone that has gotten criticized for his mic work. Now I think he's proven that he's more of a leader now. And then you got the young guys like Tim Donst and Pinky Sanchez. These are two hungry guys that are young and have paid their dues, and now they feel like it's finally their chance to shine now. And you know, these guys were mid-carders a couple months ago, or about a year ago. You know, they weren't big names, but now, because of this whole stable, now the crowds view them as main eventers now. You know, their matches get great reactions. You know, when the Colony beat them at King of Trios, you know, the crowd was going apeshit. So I definitely think it works. I don't think it's overrated at all. So that's PWG and Chikara, two different companies, but two companies that definitely deserve your attention. That's pretty much it. All right.